Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down how masterful communication isn't just a skill, it's a strategic blueprint. We're going to explore how to build the influence you need for any project to succeed, and how to move from just giving simple updates to getting true stakeholder commitment. So, what do you think? What's that invisible force, that structure that holds every single successful project together? It's not just the budget or the plan or even the talent, it's the communication. That's the architecture that makes sure everyone is on the same page, motivated, and pulling in the same direction. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas can just fall apart. All right, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll kick things off with the big idea of communication as architecture. Then we'll build on that with the 3 pillars of trust. After that, we get really practical, talking about how to tailor your message and actually develop a plan. And finally, we'll wrap up with the ultimate goal here, achieving a lasting commitment. Okay, let's start by totally reframing how we think about this stuff. For way too long, communication has been tossed in the bucket of soft skills. But that's just not right. It's not soft. It's a foundational, absolutely critical capability. It's really the engineering that underpins every single interaction and every outcome. This visual of the keystone just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't just about sending a few emails or running meetings. It is the pivotal tool that holds the entire structure together. Every word you use, every presentation you give, it's like you're laying another brick. You're either making the structure stronger or introducing a tiny crack that could weaken the whole thing down the line. Okay, let's really dive into this. If our communication is the architecture, what's the foundation made of? Well, it rests on 3 incredibly important pillars. These are the things that create trust and get you that genuine alignment you're looking for. First up, clarity. This just means your blueprint is super easy to read. There's no room for anyone to misunderstand what you're saying. Second, we've got consistency. All your messages over time, across different channels, they have to tell the same story. You can't be telling the board one thing and your team something else. And third, and this one is huge, empathy. This is all about knowing who you're building for. It's about really understanding their needs, their motivations, and what they're worried about. I remember this story about a biotech firm. They had amazing clarity with investors about the potential profits, but they totally lacked consistency with their internal updates, which just created chaos in the lab. And they showed zero empathy for the regulators' safety concerns. Without all 3 pillars, their whole venture just became unstable. So now we're going to move from the big principles into actual practice. Just like an architect creates different blueprints for the investors versus the electricians, our communication has to be tailored. Sending out one generic message to everyone, it just doesn't work when you've got so many different stakeholders. And this slide just illustrates the point perfectly. Look at the difference here. When you're talking to the board of directors, you're focused on the big picture. What are the outcomes? What's the ROI? The tone is formal, it's direct. But then you pivot to the engineering team, and the focus completely shifts to technical specs, to feasibility. The tone becomes collaborative, detailed. It's the exact same project, but you're shining a spotlight on different parts of it to match what each audience really cares about. It's what that biotech firm should have done: a crisp ROI forecast for the board and a detailed collaborative technical roadmap for the lab. Okay, this is the part where we move from just being reactive to being truly strategic. See, masterful communication doesn't just happen by accident. It comes from a deliberate, intentional plan. So instead of just relying on instinct and winging it, you start to architect your interactions with a real purpose. And a really great plan takes all of these variables into account. You've got to think about the cultural nuances, the organizational politics. You have to understand what actually motivates the individuals you're talking to. How much detail do they really need? What's the right tone to strike? Answering these questions beforehand is the difference between a message that truly lands and one that just falls completely flat. So, here's the crucial point. Why do we go to all this trouble? Why do we meticulously build this whole architecture of influence? Well, the payoff isn't just getting people to agree with you in a meeting. It's something much, much deeper and way more valuable than that. The end goal is commitment. This is that magic moment when your stakeholders stop being just passive observers and they actually become active champions for your project. They're not just nodding along anymore. They are genuinely confident in the mission and they actively work to support it. That right there, that's the real measure of success. And this single line just perfectly captures the entire philosophy we've been talking about. Every single interaction you have has to have a clear purpose, and every word you choose has to be selected with precision to achieve that purpose. It's like the architect's mantra for building influence.
So let's make this real. Based on everything we've just covered, I want you to think about this. Who is one person? It could be a boss, a client, a team member. Who is one person you can communicate with more intentionally tomorrow? How are you going to tailor your message to build not just agreement, but true, lasting commitment?